Hey, lighten up, jerk!
Right.
So I wanted to ask you, like, obviously you're a professional, you're a physician assistant, you need your hands, correct? So
Yeah.
how do you label yourself? Hobbyist competitor, that type of thing? And what are some of the challenges of training because you're not in your 20s, and you're in healthcare? Even though you look like it.
Shit.
You're in better shape than most 20-year-olds, to be honest with you.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are the challenges of you training, being in healthcare
Yeah.
and being a little older?
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely. There are definite
All
challenges.
of us, yeah.
Man, it's come to the point where I basically just don't train at academies. I mean, you mentioned that you can kind of pick and choose who you're training with. That's true. Sometimes instructors are just pairing you up.
Yeah, that's true too.
Then you're stuck, right? Now you're maybe grappling with some guy that's, again, 100 or plus pounds more, and he knows less than you, so he's going to do everything he can to level out the playing field. And that's a lot of wear and tear, and to me, it's kind of, there's a lot of unnecessary types of interactions, and I kind of refer to them as like the death matches. Like a lot of people want to have these like death matches with you, and it's like,
Super fights.
dude,
Like the final match of the worlds, that's how I call it.
yeah, like, bro, I'm not getting paid for this.
Exactly,
And in
right.
fact, if I get injured, that kind of messes up what I do get paid to do.
Yes.
So, I just don't have a lot of incentive to. I mean, don't get me wrong. Training at academies, like, you get all these different skill levels, age ranges, size differences. You're never going to get a better mix of training than by going to an elite academy, like the one that you guys go to. I think for me, I just kind of have to pick my battles, and if I want to treat it like a marathon and not a sprint, and just kind of keep chipping away a little bit here and there. For me, it's just been better to train at home. As you know, I have a studio in the backyard, and I've got, what is it, about 450 square feet. So I've got some mats and weight equipment and all these things. And you can come over and we can work on specifics and really like, it's like BJJ lab, you're just like honing in on what you need to work on. Whereas when you go to an academy, it's maybe they're covering a variation of a mount escape that you already know, or something that you don't necessarily really need to, maybe there's something you had in mind that you wanted to work on instead. And it may take weeks before you get to that lesson that he happens to bring up that covers what you wanted to specifically work on. So, and within that time, wear and tear, that's why I give you guys so much credit and props for being able to develop a game where you can weather that storm and deal with all those different personalities and still get your training in and still continue. Like, that has been a big challenge, and I've always found that I'll start to train for a few months in an academy, and then my game will elevate because it's rigorous training and you're training with elite guys. But inevitably, every time, the neck starts getting more sore than I want it to get. Maybe my wrist is more tweaked than I want it to be. And it starts, affecting my work. And that's kind of where I'm like, I got to kind of draw the line here. I don't want to keep going down that path. I'd rather train less aggressively, less intensely, and maybe not make as much progress. But in the long run, maybe I'm making more progress. So that's kind of been my dilemma. And, people are like, surprised that you can actually kind of keep chipping away and make progress by watching instructional DVDs and just working on stuff with friends, and you can. But if you put the time in, you absolutely are going to make progress.
Yeah. For sure, it's a tough balance, and I've known your situation, and it's always a good time drilling with this guy and Matt. I mean, having that lab, we all have that same mindset. We're all like very eager to learn. We're technical. We help each other out. And I think that's like honestly one of the best ways to improve your game. I think both are very important. Ideally, training at that academy, getting your rounds in, learning from these world-class professors, instructors, going with all these different guys.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I try to drill, if I could drill once a week even, but realistically once every 2 to 3 weeks on a weekend. Because I have a few friends that have mats just like you. And, just the other day I was telling you guys, I was drilling for like training at a buddy's place, 2.5 hours, you know, specific training, sparring, and then the last like 45 minutes just drilling like one position, you know, De La Hiva with the cross grip and just going over scenarios and problem solving, troubleshooting, and your game goes up so much with that. So both are very important. And I know it's tough for you. It sucks because, I mean, I'm in healthcare too. I'm a therapist. I help people recover. If I'm injured, if I broke my hand before, you know, you remember that. And I had a cast on for 4 weeks and then a brace for 2 weeks. And like, I was in school, in grad school. If I were working, if that happens to me now, and it could, because injuries could happen anytime, I'm out of work for 4 weeks, and that's gonna suck, you know.
That's a huge bummer.
And you know, that's the nature of the beast. You know, you sign on that dotted line. There's all these injuries, which is what I want to talk about next.
You're a jerk.